The following is a Learfield presentation of the Washington State Sports Network. This is the Cougar Basketball Hour on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. Tonight's show is brought to you by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Tonight's show is also brought to you by Zappos, where the Palouse comes to play and eat. Now, live from Zappos, here's the voice of the Cougs, Chris King.
Oh, it is good to be back here at Zappos for the Cougar Basketball Hour. Happy New Year, everyone. And we had our one show that was kind of our little teaser in December, our first taste of the Cougar Basketball Hour. But now we are back. It is every Tuesday night between now and the end of the season. Who's been enjoying this season for Cougar Basketball here? What a start it has been. 13-3, 3-0 overall. We've got a great show planned for everyone. Not only am I next to the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley, we have a couple of players coming by tonight. Parker Gerrits and LeJuan Watts will be stopping by here at Zappos. And before we get into everything, we'll talk about the most recent games. We'll talk about what's on tap. We'll get to some of our listener audience questions. We'll sit down and discuss things with Parker and LeJuan. But Thursday night, the Cougs will be back at home at Beasley Coliseum. Tip-off at 6:30 against Pacific. Can't wait to see everyone there for that matchup. And then Saturday, it's up to Spokane for the game against Gonzaga. Coach, great to be back here with you. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great. Excited to be here, and excited for this home game on Thursday.
A great opportunity for the fans to come out. The students are back, and that most recent game, we'll get into that. The victory over San Francisco Saturday, even though the students were not back in town, a really neat atmosphere for that. Let's do kind of a quick recap, because it was back in December when we last chatted, and those games we haven't had a chance to talk about on the coaches show. So it'll be kind of a lightning round here. Let's start with that win over Missouri State, 91-78, the team at home. It was the final non-conference home game, and got their third victory of the season, or their second. It will ultimately be the 3 victories over a Missouri Valley team.
Yeah, that was a good game for us. We were starting to get used to some of the new roles amongst our team with some of the injuries, and feels like a few months ago at this point. It was a little bit of a quieter crowd. I think the students were gone. The community, most of the people were probably out on the holiday, so it was a lot different atmosphere a couple days ago. That's
for sure. That victory over San Francisco, and looking forward to having those students, everyone else there on Thursday and moving forward. And then from there to Seattle, the game against UW. That was the last loss for the team. Only 3 losses this year. Ended up being 89-73. What comes to mind when you think back on that game in Seattle against UW?
A lot of just wanting to get that one back. I think we shot ourselves in the foot a lot. Some silly turnovers, and that's another situation where we had a bunch of guys that had to learn their new roles in a bigger environment. I thought we got out of our element a little bit, and hopefully we could learn from that. And I think we took a few things away.
Well, the team most certainly seemed like they did in that next matchup. It was the final non-conference game, December 21st, playing the game at the site of the WCC tournament, the Orleans Arena in Vegas. So it was a neutral site game. The team taking on a Northern Iowa program, a strong team, a really impressive program. And that one, especially in the first half, all Cougs. The Cougs winning that one. What comes to mind when you think back on that final non-conference game? A nice little Christmas gift going into the holiday.
Yeah, I thought that's where we found a little bit of our defensive identity. We looked like a connected group. I think we took a lot of those lessons from UW, and I think it gave our guys some confidence. We were streaky that game defensively. We let them get hot in the second half, but it was cool to see some of those defensive rotations click in, and our guys continue to get better at that.
There was no lull going into Christmas. There was no lull for the team coming out of Christmas. It was the first conference game, WCC action beginning on that Saturday, December 28th. The team on the road defeating the University of Portland 89-73. It made for a memorable night, not only to start conference play 1-0 with an impressive win, but how much crimson and gray there was in the stands at the Childs Center. How impressive was that to you when you looked around and saw the amount of Coug fans that were there cheering on the team?
That was special. The hour before the game, as a head coach, you got to sit back in the locker room. You got to let the assistants run the warm-ups. You don't really get to see much, but every 15 minutes or so, one of the assistants would come back and just talk. There's more Washington State fans here than Portland fans, and I just I kind of like took it with a grain of salt. And I walked out there. It was packed, and it was full of Washington State fans. The national anthem hit, and it was the home of the Cougs, and it was just a really cool environment, and first time for me seeing something like that.
And the team most certainly delivered for those Coug fans showing up in Portland, getting that victory. So 1-0 in conference play. Then December 30th, it's at the Spokane Arena. The team taking on a very talented Loyola Marymount squad, and the squad gets the victory, 73-59. What made that such a good night for the team in front of all those fans in Spokane?
Man, our defense. We had a really good defensive showing that game. I thought, we had some stretches where they didn't get a good look at the rim, and I think that's where we're starting to grow, and we're seeing some consistency there. And then LMU is a big physical team, and for us to go get that one in Spokane was a fun night.
Okay, so that takes us to Saturday.
Yeah,
Who here had fun at Beasley Coliseum on Saturday? The team getting the opportunity against the University of San Francisco. Multiple straight years they've been in the WCC tournament semifinals. You take out the COVID year, it was 6 straight years that they've had 20 or more wins. So this is a program that has been competing at the top of the WCC. They come to the Palouse. The team gets the 91-82 win. That is a great feather in the cap for the squad. That win over San Francisco, is that one that, not only looks good now, but could pay dividends down the road?
Yeah, they're right there on the bubble, and so for us to get a win like that against a team that's playing really well, to score 91 on that defense, I think is a good sign that our guys can do it against anyone. And I think just we got to continue to build confidence and find different ways to win.
What were you most pleased with? You score that many points against a quality opponent, that obviously jumps out. But as you went back and watched the film, that's the most recent game. What were you most pleased with?
I think we're starting to learn how to finish games. We had some good stretches mid-season where we were beating Nevada and Boise with really strong starts. Northern Iowa, you can kind of go down the line. And the last couple of games, we finished the game better. The USF game, I think there was about 6 minutes left, and we went on a 21-1 run. And for our guys to really be able to lock in like that, I think is a good sign that we can finish the games the right way too.
So that UW game, that was the last time we've seen Isaiah Watts. The team has had to deal with more than their fair share of injury issues, and then Isaiah having to be out for a while. So this stretch, and from that UW game on, the team, Northern Iowa, it's a victory. 3-0 in conference play, it's a victory. How has everyone been able to navigate being shorthanded and yet still delivering these impressive results?
It's been impressive just to see everyone step up. We had confidence going in when these injuries happened because we've seen the guys do it in practice. Like we had some crazy practices in the fall where every day it just seemed like a different guy stepped up and was the best player on the floor. And so, it's given guys different opportunities. We got a couple freshmen that are playing a lot more than we maybe expected to, but they proved in the fall that they could do it. You look at we got Parker, Case, and Thomas that are playing heavy minutes and really done a good job, and that's all done from just putting the work in. And so that's been the coolest part, is seeing these guys have the opportunity and make the most of it.
And they have certainly stepped into those roles and done a fantastic job. Again, we're talking with David Riley here at Zeppos. It is the Cougar Basketball Hour. A reminder, the Junior Cougs Kids Club is presented by Toyota. It is the official kids club of the Washington State Cougars, and it is the best way for the youngest members of Cougar Nation to show off their Cougar pride. Find out more information about your Junior Cougs membership perks at wsucougars.com/JRCougs. We'll take a time out here from Zeppos. When we come back, we'll have more with Coach Riley. Again, joining us tonight, we'll have 2 outstanding players from the team stopping by to visit. We'll have LeJuan Watts and Parker Gerrits. That's all after this. You're listening to the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late-night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppo's. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppo's.
Back after this local timeout on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Buy one, get one for $1 breakfast on favorites like toasty bagel sandwiches, hash browns, and more. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Nothing works up an appetite like cheering for your Cougs on game day. So why not cheer them on at Northern Quest with an impressive roster of restaurants and lounges? You can tackle the menu at Epic and catch every play on the 10 by 30-foot screen. Or grab a steak at Maslow's, a fine cigar at Legends of Fire, even a burger from Fat Burger. You know, for your inner linebacker. See more at northernquest.com. Go Cougs!
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
Back at Zeppo's on the Cougar Basketball Hour. Chris King next to David Riley, the head coach of the Cougs. Again, still to join us tonight, we'll have a couple of players. We will have Parker Gerrits and LeJuan Watts both here, but back here with Coach Riley. And, you know, that first segment we were talking about the action on the court. The team 13-3 overall, 3-0 in conference play, but maybe even more impressive than what the team has done in the win-loss column is what the team has done in the classroom. The team GPA, 3.35, the highest single-semester GPA in program history, the highest cumulative GPA in program history. How proud of you have you been of what the team has done with that really incredible accomplishment?
It's been awesome. You know, these guys worked their tails off. Yesterday was the first day of school back for the semester, and it's just impressive seeing these guys schedule, and for them to go get a 3.35 is hats off to them. You know, Heather plays a huge part in it. I think our assistant coaches and our staff, we try to make sure that we're really involved with their academics, and really that just means talking to them about it. Like if we're really a family, we don't want to just not even have any part in what they're doing 4 or 5 hours a day in school. We try to know what's going on, if they got tests, what they're studying, and I think that's part of the deal is if we're involved in that and putting some pressure on them to do well, I think that helps too.
Well, that is fantastic leadership. Congrats to you and to everyone on the team for making that happen, because that is something definitely worth celebrating. While we're talking about things off the court, it sort of struck me too. Saturday after the game, this big victory at home over the University of San Francisco, and I might ask Parker about this, but as soon as the game was done, I think even before he went back to the locker room, Parker was signing autographs for some kids, and then I think maybe after everyone chatted in the locker room, the guys came back out and were signing autographs. Did you get to see that? That was pretty cool to see them kind of embracing all the fans that were there.
No, that was awesome. And I think it's the second game in a row we've had some guys that were a little late to the locker room because they were signing autographs for some kids, and that's probably the only good excuse they could come up with. And it's just awesome to see the community out there. Our guys have all been in that position when they were coming up and going to games and watching college players, and I think it's a cool moment for our guys to be able to interact with them.
Well, I think those kids were Coug fans kind of no matter what because they were there. I think the players maybe made them Coug fans for life and created some lifetime memories for them. And so Saturday night, well, we'll get into previewing the games coming up. Thursday at home against Pacific, Saturday on the road against Gonzaga. You play Gonzaga on the road. That's an important matchup. But for your family, maybe a lot of folks, parents, aunts, and uncles, it might be split screen coming up on Saturday because the Cougs have the game at 6 o'clock, but for folks who don't know, your brother is also in the coaching profession. Can you let everyone know what he'll be busy with Saturday?
Yeah, so he's a coach with the Ravens. He's on the defensive side of the ball, and so they play the Steelers at I think sometime that evening, and it'll be. Yeah, I'm sure my dad will be splitting screens, and my sister will be at the Gonzaga game. So we know where her loyalties lie.
Well, that is good to hear. She'll be there in person, probably a little warmer than for a Steelers-Ravens game in January. No love lost between the Steelers and Ravens. So was it always going to be the track where you were going to be the basketball coach? She was going to be the football coach? I mean, football coaching runs in your family, but was that always the track?
He was always more of a football guy. He was never much of a shooter, and so he got into the football side of things a little quicker than I did. And I've always just stuck with hoops, and he's done a great job in his career. He's 9 years younger than me, and he's done a great job climbing the ranks and really being a student of the game. And it was pretty cool. A couple weeks ago, I was watching Hard Knocks, and the Ravens are on it. My brother got to be on there before the Steelers game, and he was up there giving the scouting report, so he'll be coming up soon.
Well, you're doing pretty incredible things for someone who, is not super old in the coaching profession. He's 9 years younger than you, and he's on the staff for the Ravens. The Riley family's doing good things in the coaching profession, which is not the first generation for that to happen. Okay, coming up, we've got Parker Gerrits and LeJuan Watts. What do you want Coug fans either here at Zeppos, who are listening in, who they're tuning in, what do you want them to know about these guys that they cheer for on the court?
Man, they've both got some pretty cool stories and backgrounds and the people that helped them get here. I think Parker is one of the ultimate Cougs. I think he can tell you more about where his parents met and all that. So I think that's great. And then LeJuan's got a family of athletes as well. So some pretty cool stories there.
Well, we're excited to talk to them next. We'll let you loose. Enjoy some of the food here at Zeppos, and we'll have you back on a little bit later as we preview those matchups this week.
Appreciate it. Go Cougs.
Again, that is David Riley, the head coach of the Cougs, joining us here at Zeppos on the Cougar Basketball Hour. Well, earn your bragging rights at Northern Quest with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Northern Quest, yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. Coming up, we will have Parker Gerrits and LeJuan Watts both stopping by. That's all after this break. You're listening to the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
Spokane International Airport is a proud sponsor of Washington State University Athletics. The airport connects Cougar fans and alums with over 60 daily departures to more than 20 nonstop destinations provided by 7 major airlines, as well as one-stop connections to most major metropolitan centers throughout the U.S. Real-time arrival and flight departure information is available at SpokaneAirports.net. Spokane International Airport, when it's time to fly.
Ho! Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Kris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, Jan, got any red Tacomas?
Yeah, we have a great selection of vehicles, including Tacomas.
After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Did you say Florida? Can the elves and I go too?
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
This is Mohamed Gay.
Gay catches foul line high, pump fake, drives in, dunks it down, an exclamation point.
And you're listening to Cougar Basketball. Go Cougs.
Hampton and Pullman is just a short drive from the WSU campus. They've got you covered for all your lodging and dining needs with the addition of their on-site bar and restaurant, Crimson Bar and Bites. You will feel right at home with their spacious rooms, famous Hampton waffles, cozy outdoor patios, Cougar gift shop, and the friendliest staff in town. Visit HamptonByHilton.com to reserve a room for your next trip to the Palouse. Coug owned and Coug managed. It matters where you stay. Hampton and Pullman. Hilton for the stay.
Are you interested in your company reaching Coug fans in and out of game day? As the multimedia rights holder for Washington State Athletics, Washington State Sports Properties helps companies and organizations connect themselves to Cougar Athletics in unique and exciting ways. From LED signs to pregame parties to the radio ad you're hearing right now, Washington State Sports Properties is helping companies both large and small get in front of Coug fans on a daily basis. Reach out to Washington State Sports Properties to learn more about what sponsoring the Cougs can look like for you.
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
Back at Zeppo's here on the Cougar Basketball Hour, and we have our first of two player guests tonight, and not often we can say this, where we've got a redshirt freshman joining us who is a grizzled veteran of the team. Parker Gerrits, second-year Coug, with two guys back from last year's squad. Parker, you're the wily vet around here. How are you doing? It's great having you here tonight.
It's great. Always great to be in Pullman. Can't complain about a night in Pullman ever, right? So
Preach, my man, preach. So, and we'll get into that, and Coach Riley kind of teased it, that your Cougar ties run deep. But with you, the unique point of view that you have. You and Isaiah Watts were around last year. You redshirted. But this team, so many newcomers coming in, but 13-3, 3-0 in conference play. What's allowed everyone to gel together and to have this chemistry over a short span and to be able to play like the team has played to this point?
Yeah, I think that our coaching staff obviously did a great job throughout the summer of just bonding us together. Like, everything we did within the 6-7 weeks we were here is we were always together doing something, whether that was we went river rafting, we went playing VR in Moscow, axe throwing one time, like doing a bunch of fun activities just to always be together and share those bonds and really create that chemistry early. And so it was fun. I think what was also cool about it was obviously Coach Riley coming from Eastern and the whole staff and bringing guys along from there, and then me and Isaiah still bringing here and the other transfers coming in. They were allowed to show us what the program was about and show us how they run things and do things. And then me and Isaiah were allowed to teach these guys about what Pullman's about and how special the community is and what it's about being a Coug. And so I think it was a great way to come together and just be one. And I think we've both done a great job at teaching each other both those things.
Using everyone's strengths. That sounds perfect. Axe throwing. Did everyone have good aim?
Yeah, most guys were good. I mean, definitely Europeans throwing things isn't the greatest thing in the world. But they were pretty good at it.
So stand back.
Yeah.
Stand back on some of those guys. Okay, that makes sense there. Coach Riley was at Eastern Washington. You're a Washington guy. You're from Olympia. Had you crossed paths before? Is Coach Riley someone that you had been in contact with when you were in the recruiting process originally?
Yeah, the Eastern and Coach Riley did recruit me out of high school and recruited me earlier than most other schools did, so I did cross paths with them a little bit. Went over to Cheney and visited once, and so me and Coach Riley and the Eastern staff did cross paths a little bit.
So it worked out perfect. It wasn't the first time that he maybe wanted you to play for him, but here it is. The stars all lined up.
Yeah, exactly.
For you have deep Cougar ties.
Yeah.
Can you tell everyone just how deep those family ties run to Washington State?
So let me think here. So both my grandparents went here. And then I had a bunch of aunts and uncles, obviously, and then both my parents went here as well. And then just a bunch of other family friends from throughout the years of growing up that I've met that all have Pullman ties, that wherever you go, it's like, go Cougs. Even though I'm not wearing something Cougs, they know because of how close we are. And so it's crazy thinking about how far it goes back. I mean, my grandma's got a Cougar logo tattooed on her leg.
Now I like that. That is way to go, Grandma.
Parents met at the Coug and all that stuff. So a lot of deep Pullman ties that are will be, there forever. So, and hopefully continue to go.
I don't know if there's many people who can out-Coug you. I mean, you pulled out some big guns there with some of your stories and how deep the ties are. So, for you, what was your earliest memory as a Cougar fan?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, obviously I don't remember this, but I do have a picture of my dad holding me at the Coug when I wasn't even a year old and a little baby thing, and it has a football jersey that says Gerrits across it, and I got wax in my ears, and he's got 2 beers in his hand like this at the Coug. So, I mean, but memory-wise, I would say, like, some of the biggest memories that stand out to me when I was little was my first Apple Cup in Pullman when Andrew Fernie made that kick to beat the Huskies. That was a good one. I came over for college game day and woke up at the crack of the morning and got out to the RV lot and stuff like that. And then just playing football, running around the RV lot. We used to drive our RV over every weekend, camp it out there, and play, so it was a lot of fun.
And so for you, when everything came together to come here to WSU, I mean, that just had to be the dream, right, to become a Coug yourself?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, always talking about playing for the Cougs. I mean, I fell in love with basketball at a very young age, and watching Klay Thompson and Kyle Weaver and Taylor Rochester and all those guys really, like, obviously it was like, oh, yeah, I want to come here. And then obviously coming over and seeing how special the Cougar community is and getting to be a fan and watch it, it's like, God, I want to go play. I want those fans to cheer me on. And so when Coach Smith gave me the call and I called him back, like, ready to go, like, yeah, I want to do this. Like, it was a pretty special day for me and my family.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. And the number you wear is a nod to a former Coug. Is that correct?
I do wear number 10 after Taylor Rochester. So.
And have you had a chance to meet him over the years, to visit with him?
I do have his phone number. So one of my dad's buddies that used to coach baseball here is really close with Taylor. And so he connected me through him. And I haven't texted him in a while, but we have exchanged a little bit, text here and there.
I'm sure Taylor is very proud of what you and all your Cougar teammates have done this year and last year too. Not to mention that as well, what you were a part of last year, what the team did. We talked to Coach Riley about the squad signing autographs after the game, and I saw you led the charge on that. It was right after the game. You were over signing autographs, back out afterwards after being in the locker room. How fun is that to be able to do that?
Yeah, it's a blast. I mean, I was giving all the fans high fives down the line in the Zoo Crew, and there was some little kid I heard scream, "Come sign my hat!" And so I just remember being that little kid, always asking for players' autographs. And so when you hear that, knowing the kids come to games, just hoping for that always try to give back to them. I mean, they come support us so much and cheer us on from afar. And so whenever I can to support and hopefully get the other guys to help, give them a little something they'll remember is something I always try to do. So it was a lot of fun.
Making those Cougs for life. Again, Parker Gerrits, our guest here on the Cougar Basketball Hour. So coming up, the next game is at home on Thursday against Pacific. I thought it was a fantastic atmosphere on Saturday when the team was able to beat San Francisco in front of the fans at Beasley. But the students will be back in town. How exciting is that? Because the students have been around a little bit before, but now it's conference play. The students are back. Have you told your teammates of like, all right, you thought Saturday was good. Wait till the Zoo Crew is there and in full force.
Hopefully they come out. I mean, I know there's a lot of more basketball games than there are football games, and so we definitely try to rally the troops a little bit, and hopefully we can get that Zoo Crew filled up a little bit more. But it's always having fun having fans in Beasley and packing Beasley out, and so hopefully they get there. I mean, we'll try to do our best to show the new guys what it means to really have the fans behind you in Beasley. It's a lot of fun, though, for sure.
I love that. And then Saturday, it's a road game, but you get to stay within the own state and head up to Spokane, that matchup against Gonzaga. No one's looking past Pacific on Thursday, but that next road game, nice to be close to home. And, of course, that's going to be always a challenge when playing Gonzaga.
For sure. I mean, they got an awesome atmosphere up there, but hopefully some Coug fans can make it up there. Some students maybe, possibly. I mean, I know how hard it is to get tickets for that game. I've been hearing how crazy it is. But, I mean, obviously we're focused on Pacific right now, but everyone's looking forward to everything coming up in the future.
It is going to be a fun week. Again, Thursday against Pacific, Saturday against Gonzaga. And for you, the nice thing is we have this conversation, is we'll be in a position to hopefully have this conversation for years and years to come. But as a redshirt freshman, what are you thinking about when it comes to what you're studying right now, and then maybe when you look towards a long ways down the road after your college basketball career, what's next for you?
I mean, basketball has always been a part of my life, and so I don't know what I would do without it. And so I've always been told that if I stopped playing basketball, I know I'd be a pretty good coach. But, I mean, if that's not the case, I am studying business finance, and so I've always been a big numbers guy, and maybe that is because I do look at statistics and stuff like that basketball-wise. But my mom's an accountant, and I've always fell in love with math. And so I'm working somewhere in the business field. I don't know exactly what that is yet, but something to do with numbers, whether that's in the coaching world or if that's out in the business world. I'm not exactly sure, but hopefully play basketball as long as we can, though. That's the goal.
A bright future in front of you, and I know it's been great for you and the team on the court and in the classroom as well. Congrats on everything so far. It's been fun seeing you out there in action, and looking forward to this week. Thanks for being here, Parker.
Appreciate it. Go Cougs.
Again, that is Parker Gerrits stopping by Zeppos here on the Cougar Basketball Hour. We talk about those games coming up. Again, Thursday night, looking forward to seeing everyone there at Beasley Coliseum. Tip-off at 6:30 6:30, so that means our pregame coverage, myself and Craig Elo, will start a half hour prior, and then Saturday we will be up at the Kennel, a 6 o'clock tip-off for that matchup against Gonzaga. Well, we will take a break here from Zeppos. Again, still to come. A little bit later on, we'll have Coach Riley rejoin us as we'll preview those two games this week. But coming up next, LeJuan Watts, redshirt sophomore for the Cougs, will swing by and chat with us. That's all after this timeout. You're listening to the Cougar Basketball Hour from Zeppos from Learfield.
The passion, the tradition, the rivalries. Sirius XM is your destination for all things college sports, and we've got you covered. On Sirius XM College Sports Radio, there's complete coverage of every major conference, including live games, plus 24/7 talk and analysis. So cheer along on the Sirius XM app and listen to your favorite team anywhere. And now you can get 3 months of Sirius XM free. Subscribe now. See offer details at SiriusXM.com/College Sports Radio 24.
You know what I could really go for right now? Literally anything that comes in a McDonald's carton, wrapper, or bag. Or a McDonald's cup. Yes, any of those items should do it.
Or Cougar fans, why not get them all? Order with the app and get a bacon double cheeseburger, 4-piece chicken McNuggets, small fries, and soft drink for only $7. Offer valid exclusively in the McDonald's app. Must opt into rewards at participating restaurants.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You're listening to Cougar Basketball on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. The combined expertise of our university and our award-winning hospital are being deployed to provide greater access to resources, education, employment opportunities, and innovations to improve health care and health outcomes for all of us. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State, partners in excellence.
This Cougar Moment is sponsored by Brown Family Vineyards. Brown Family honors the legacy of founder Andrew Brown's late grandfather, William Bittner Brown. Every decision made, from farm to glass, reflects their commitment to premium Northwest wine and spirits. Whether you're visiting one of Brown's tasting rooms or opening a bottle in your own home, Andrew and his wife Courtney welcome you to their extended family, where good friends, good food and wine, and good times are always on the agenda. Stop by one of our tasting rooms in Spokane, Walla Walla, Seattle, Bellevue, Tacoma, or Portland, and get 20% off a glass this season when you mention WSU.
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
Chris King back along with you here at Zeppos on the Cougar Basketball Hour. It is our first Cougar Basketball Hour of 2025. We had one back in December. The great thing is we are off into the races at this point. Every Tuesday from now until the end of the season, we will be right here getting caught up on all things Cougar Hoops. The team right now 13-3 on the year, 3-0 in conference play. A home game Thursday against Pacific. We had a great time chatting with on our prior segment Parker Gerrits, and now so thrilled to be joined by LeJuan Watts, redshirt sophomore for the team. LeJuan, thanks for being here tonight. How are you?
For sure. I'm good. I'm great.
Well, that is great to hear. And for you, first question, how's life as a Coug? First year here as part of the program, first year in Pullman. How's everything going?
It's amazing. Obviously, you see the people in the back. The love here it's great.
Well, I want to ask you about, I'd normally say, how did you become a Coug? But let's go back a little further. How did you get connected with Coach Riley? Because you're with David Riley and the staff at Eastern Washington, ultimately coming here with him to WSU. How did you get connected with Coach Riley? And there's so much continuity with the coaching staff as well, that all those folks that you know so well.
Yeah, I got recruited by Coach Riley's assistant, Coach O, at Eastern, and then Coach O ended up leaving to Portland. And that made me and Coach Riley closer because I had to, find a coach that really trusted me, and I had to put my trust in him, obviously. And we had a good year last year at Eastern Washington, and I followed him to Washington State. He gave me the opportunity.
So when that, it came up of, hey, you could potentially go to WSU, was that kind of a no-brainer for you, seeing that, great coach, maybe some teammates that were going to come as well, that
sure.
A great opportunity?
Yeah, for sure. When he got the job, I I definitely got a call in the next few days from him, and I asked Ethan because prior to that, me and Ethan kind of thought he might leave because we had a successful year or whatever, and we talked about if we were going to leave, and I said we would follow him, just like Ethan and Dane and Cedric did.
Well, and it has been a smashing success for the Cougs that you and your 3 teammates from Eastern have come down here. We got the point of view from Parker from before, one of 2 guys who are back, and it really is remarkable about how well this team has been able to come together with, the amount of newness that there is. But I know that having that core from the 4 Eastern players has been a big part of it. How, from your perspective, has this team been able to come together and shown so much chemistry, and even with a lot of injury issues, being able to deal with that?
I mean, I think it played a big part having Ethan, Dane, and Ced. They're basically our captains on our team, the older guys, and still having a younger team, Parker, Zay, and Nate. I think just trying to fill shoes and having those injuries, everyone stepped up. Thomas from Iceland has been playing a great role for us. Yeah, just having those leaders on our team has been big for us.
And for you in that spot, I mean, without Cedric, without Isaiah, without Ree, without Marcus, I mean, that's a lot. And you have shouldered a good amount of that load. Everyone has, all 8 guys as of late, but you definitely have had your fair share of that load that you've taken on your shoulders. What's allowed you to not only to do that, but to thrive doing that?
Yeah, I would say, again, the trust from Coach Riley. He puts a lot of trust in me, and the staff, Coach Jerry and Pedro, just working out with them every day. And, I mean, I can only do what we practice and do every day, showcase it.
What should we know? I think Cougar fans have had so much fun cheering on this team, but they're still, learning about everyone. And only have been able to see you and your teammates a handful of times play, in Pullman to this point, excited for the rest of the way. But what should they know about Coach Riley? What should they know about your teammates Ethan and Dane and Cedric that you know so well?
Just that we're a family. I think Coach Riley's just one of our, basically one of our older brothers because he's so young, and every now and then I'll sneak to his house to go get a sauna. We're so close. We just go over and hang out at his house sometimes. We're just a really close team. That's what I would say is different from a lot of teams.
Well, I hear the phrase family, and you come from quite the family, especially when it comes to athletics. I'm just going to rattle off some of the accomplishments for your family. Your dad, Walter, played basketball for Utah under Rick Majerus. He was the team's 2nd leading scorer and rebounder on their 1991 Sweet 16 team, and we'll talk about him more in a moment. Your sister played basketball at Colorado. A brother who played football at Utah. You just had a brother signed to play football at Sacramento State. Mm-hmm. What am I leaving out? I mean, that's a good amount, but I feel like I'm only scratching the surface.
Basketball family. I have another sister that's not really a basketball player, but she's still doing her thing. I think she's on a cruise right now doing massages working. So, I don't want to leave her out of it, but we're a basketball family for sure.
That's great. So, but basketball, quasi-football family, because there is a little bit of football there as well.
Sure.
Is there sport number 1 between the two? Or?
The bigger dudes, I think my brother and my younger brother just got the bigger genes of it, so they decided to play football.
Well, we mentioned your dad, and fortunately he passed away in 2016, but what an incredible athlete. Yeah. He not only thrived on the hardwood, we mentioned he was the 2nd leading scorer on a Sweet 16 team for Utah, but he played football and was with NFL teams for a little bit, having basically not played in football. And he played minor league baseball. He was a true 3-sport standout at that level.
For sure. I remember just reading papers on him being compared to Bo Jackson. I think that was a really cool thing that my dad had did.
That is really remarkable. I mean, it's one thing to be a 2-sport athlete, which is pretty mind-blowing.
For sure.
But then to be skilled enough to throw baseball. It's one thing. I mean, football and basketball, but then you throw baseball to be skilled to that point. Did he talk about, back in the day when he was thriving on the hardwood, on the gridiron, and on the diamond?
He kind of showed me to be all sports. Growing up, I played baseball, football, basketball, and I actually did swim too. So I think he just wanted me to have a good C on all the sports.
That is so cool. And you're here at WSU. Outside of, you have this kind of basketball family. What's been the best thing about getting acclimated to Pullman and being a Coug?
It's about the family. I think when I first got here in the transfer portal, me coming off the plan, I just felt like the first thing I said to my sister was right next to me. I said, it feels like home already. Yeah.
That is well said. That is well said, and I know that that strikes a chord with everyone here in attendance at Zeppo's. Off the court, we heard about how the team had such a fantastic semester in the classroom, setting a record for the highest team GPA. Let us know, what are you studying? What's keeping you busy in the classroom?
I'm doing communications, and and I think Heather's been, I'm going to shout out Heather. We've been doing a lot of guided study and study halls. I finished with a 3.9. Shout out to Heather. I've never been that high ever.
Wow, that is fantastic. What was the best class from this last semester for you?
Probably criminal justice. That was really interesting in there. I just learned a lot about how people think. Yeah.
That's great. 3.9? Mm-hmm. That is something to definitely be proud of. So for you, when your college career comes to an end, what's the goal after that?
I mean, for sure, to make it to the league, I would definitely want to go to the NBA. And hopefully that works out. And after that, I want to do what my older brother does and do pharmaceutical reps.
Wow, yeah. Okay. See, back from Fresno originally. Is that where kind of most of the family is in that area?
Yeah, all my family's in Fresno, right next to they live in Madera, but we're all from Fresno, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that made the Fresno State game kind of fun earlier this year, right?
For sure. That was my high school coach.
That was your high. Wow, that was that game down in Palm Desert, and that was a nice Coug win there.
That was amazing.
There we go. And then, I guess Pacific's not crazy too far away. Right. It's not right there, but not too far away. That's the next matchup here on Thursday. What's it been like playing in front of the home fans at Beasley?
I love it. Last game, we felt it in that fourth quarter, or the second half, end of the half. I think like a few minutes left, Dane made a huge three, and then just the whole crowd went crazy. I just felt amazing. Yeah.
Well, it has been so much fun to watch you in a Cougar uniform. Congrats on all the success so far, and can't wait to see you and your teammates back in action right here at home. That matchup at Beasley with Pacific on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Again, that is LeJuan Watts from the Cougar basketball team joining us here at Zeppo's on the Cougar Basketball Hour. Well, Cougar Nation, each time you bring your Toyota vehicle to be serviced at a local and participating Toyota dealership, you can receive a premium Washington State giveaway item as a member of the Toyota Rewards program. To join the program, visit WSUCougars.com/Toyota Rewards. And a reminder on the timing of those two games coming up, the Cougs will be in action at home Thursday, 6:30, Saturday, that road matchup with Gonzaga. Looking forward to seeing everyone at Beasley coming up on Thursday night. We will take a break here from Zeppo's. When we return, we'll be rejoined by the head coach of the Cougs, David Riley. This is the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
So we've always wanted a Cadillac Escalade.
But they're out of our price range.
So I started a podcast for my side hustle. You know, all the kids are doing it.
Honey, you've got 7 likes.
All right. Hey, I'm still learning how to algorithm.
And that's not a verb.
Oh.
There's an easier way to score an Escalade. It's Northern Quest's $165,000 Cadillac Countdown. Play daily to enter. Grand prize drawing January 25th. Details at northernquest.com.
Hey, this is Craig Elo, and you're listening to Washington State Basketball. Go Cougs!
Get your home turf ready to play with the game-changing performance of Steel. Enjoy big savings this fall on Steel handheld outdoor power equipment. Find yours at over 10,000 local Steel dealers. Steel is a proud supporter of your Washington State Cougars. Real Steel. Find yours.
Get game day ready at Rosars. Rosars is a proud sponsor of WSU Athletics and your headquarters for keeping snacks stocked up for game time. You'll find the largest craft beer selection, local and imported wines, and all the makings for your favorite cocktails. And while you're there, stock up on your favorite deli snacks, pizza, rotisserie chickens, and ribs. Don't just watch the game. Experience it with your favorite Game Time foods. Get game day ready at Rosars.
This is the U.S. Bank Cougar Coaches Show on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank is a proud supporter of Cougar athletics. Together, there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. U.S. Bank. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
Back at Zeppo's on the Cougar Basketball Hour. Chris King next to David Riley as we have you back up on here. So we're a couple impressive guys. I mean, you told us how good they would be, and we've seen what they've done on the court, but really neat to get a chance to talk to Parker and LeJuan.
No, they're great, and two guys that have been great in the locker room and helped our team chemistry, and they're Parker's been good since I got here. LeJuan's come a long way with his media training since his first interview after a big game last year.
Well, we got a communication major, so there we go. We've got some listener and audience questions to get to here coming up. Mentioning how there was a Jalen Wells post on social media rallying the Zoo Crew to get into Beasley for the game on Thursday, and it is Greek night. This is from Coug for Life on X, and it is asking about Greek night on Thursday. And it sounds like the team has spent some time before going around to the Greek community.
Yeah, I know. Right when school started, we wanted to make sure we reached out to all the fraternities and sororities and made sure that we appreciate them and brought them some pizza, and hopefully they can come out to games. I mean, I just think that's a huge piece if we can get the student body enjoying the games and realizing that it's the most fun place to be on a Thursday and Saturday. I think we can make that a pretty fun environment.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And the next opportunity coming up on Thursday night, that matchup with Pacific. The other question from Cody Rogers: how do you balance coaching up your players and keeping the game simple so no one is overthinking out on the court, especially during the timeouts when there's such a short time to communicate with them?
That's a good question. I think we purposely try to keep our game plans really simple. I think we, as coaches, have a crazy amount of information thrown at us. We get all the stats. We've all got these different ideas, and I think one thing that we've done this year differently is we'll have all of our coaches and managers meet about 2 hours before practice and do a walkthrough and really just work out the kinks, figure out what doesn't make sense, and really just try to simplify things so we can make it as simple as possible when the guys play. You know, the term paralysis by analysis is something that we don't want our guys to do. We don't want them to slow down and think. We just want them to play off instincts.
And how do you, because, I mean, you are a numbers guy. I mean, it's not, that part is not ignored. How do you distill all of that? And with your staff, who I know you have a lot of faith and trust in and everyone works so well together, but to take what is out there, because paralysis by analysis, I mean, you could just be swimming in all the different numbers that are available now. How do you take that and then take what's good and then give that to the players and try to put it into action?
That's part of the art. I think that's something that we do is we want to make sure we're emphasizing consistent things. Like if you're emphasizing one stat this day, one stat this day, I think it can get confusing for the guys that aren't as into math, and really just want to make the stats tell the story. Like I think if guys can understand what that looks like in game, I think that's a big difference maker, and hopefully we're starting to get the guys to understand that.
Sounds like Parker's a math guy. Is he like going in depth a little bit with you on some of the things you and the coaches look at and some of the numbers that you emphasize?
Parker and Dane are our two analytical minds. They're both taking these high level Excel courses, and yeah, I might have to start using them to work some stats for me.
Well, it was great to talk to Parker, and we'll have Dane coming up at some point. We've had Ethan, we've had Nate, we've had Parker, we've had LeJuan, and it's been fun getting to know these guys. We'll take another break here from Zeppo's. More to come on the Cougar Basketball Hour. We'll talk with David Riley about those matchups this week. Thursday against Pacific, Saturday at Gonzaga. That is after this timeout. This is the Cougar Basketball Hour from Learfield.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. maybe.
Buy one, get one for $1 breakfast on favorites like toasty bagel sandwiches, hash browns, and more. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
This is Cougar basketball from Learfield.
Ho! Welcome to the Make It Jingle with Chris Kringle podcast. Today we're talking to Jan from Toyota, all about Toyotathon.
Hi!
So, Jan, got any red Tacomas?
Yeah, we have a great selection of vehicles, including Tacomas.
After my big job, I'm taking the missus down to Florida to go surfing.
Did you say Florida? Can the elves and I go too?
Dealer inventory may vary. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 6th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
Hey, Coug fans! Can't decide what to do with your late-night weekends? Why not Cosmic Bowling? Every Friday and Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. is Cosmic Bowling at Zeppo's. At a price designed with everyone in mind, we are your destination for music, disco lights, and of course, bowling. Can't join us on the weekends? Zeppo's is the place to be for all ages every day of the week. With bowling, food, and drink specials, we offer prices that won't break the budget. You can even reserve your lane in advance with online reservations at Zeppos.com. When looking for fun in Pullman, look no further than Zeppo's.
Welcome back to the show. Time now to look ahead at this week's game with the Coors Light Opponent Preview. Coors Light. Choose chill. Proud partner of Cougar Athletics. Celebrate responsibly.
Two matchups coming up this week for the Cougs as we welcome you back here to Zeppo's on the Cougar Basketball Hour. Chris King next to David Riley. Those two matchups, the first one at home, Pacific, Thursday. That game against the Tigers, 6:30 at Beasley. Let's talk about Pacific. So they come to town. They've got a first-year head coach. They're looking to kind of get their program turned around. This would be a signature win for them if they could come into Pullman and knock off the Cougs. What has it been like gearing up for this game on Thursday with Pacific?
Yeah, you know, they're an intriguing team. They've got a first-year head coach who runs a pretty unique system. He was head coach up in Canada for a long time, and they do a really good job. These guys playing hard, and I think they're one of those teams with a lot of new guys in year one. Every game they're kind of getting closer and closer, and we just got to make sure we're not the team where they figure things out.
And while their record might not be exactly where they want it, they had a really tight one with San Francisco. I mean, they had San Francisco, in that game. San Francisco didn't get that one wrapped up till the very end. They weren't too far out of striking distance with St. Mary's. And this is a conference, too. On any given night, any team could step up and have themselves a big game.
Absolutely. I think they showed, like, San Francisco had to hit some really, really tough shots to win that game down the stretch. And we've shown that we don't have much room for error. Like we've got to go and make sure we're all firing on all cylinders every night. And I think that's something that we just got to stay consistent and focus on ourselves. And I think the wins and losses will take care of themselves.
Then it is on the road, but about as good of a road trip as you can possibly get as far as distance traveled, heading up to the Kennel. It will be Saturday night. It will be 6 o'clock, the tip-off with Gonzaga. Gonzaga, obviously, year in and year out, they are right in there in the national conversation. They are right in there in the national rankings. What's this year's version of Gonzaga going to be like? I know that's the next game, so your focus is on Pacific, but I'm sure you have a little bit of an idea about this year's Gonzaga team. What do you know about the Bulldogs right now?
I've started watching them a little bit more the last few weeks, and just a typical Gonzaga team, super talented, very well coached. Aggressive defensively, physical inside. They're one of the best teams in the country, and it's gonna be a fun game.
for the team. You play Gonzaga, and for the Cougs, it's been a long time. This game has just not been played, and it will be played this year, next year, and years and years to come. So that's kind of an exciting thing that this series will be reignited. But, I mean, you go up to Gonzaga. The Kennel is known as a very, very tough environment. Do you have to mention it? Do you not mention it? How does it work when it comes to approaching that game?
I mean, we got to be ready for the crowd noise. I think that's something that we just got to be ready to adjust to. We played in some loud environments. You take that Boise game, the Iowa game. Those are some of the louder, the UW game, some of the louder environments in the country. And I thought we've learned how to adjust to that a little bit. But besides that, we just got to go be us. Like, I think what's exciting about watching the film of that USF game is that, yeah, we won the game against a really good team, but there's so much controllable stuff that we got to continue to grow in. And that's kind of just our mindset right now. Is just we're going to go compete every night and make other teams prove it, but we're going to stay focused on ourselves.
Even with that, I think, especially with only having 8 available players during the stretch, the team has shown a lot of composure. That there are times where against an opponent like San Francisco, and we can go back through a number of these games where, you know, maybe a couple of those games where they were great first halves and they were maybe a little tighter in the second half, the team still hung on and played a better 40 minutes. But there have been stretches in that San Francisco game, the LMU game, where things could have taken a turn in favor of the opponent, where when the Cougs are up 11-0 early and then San Francisco takes a first half lead, it's still a decisive Cougar victory. How is it seeing the team kind of go through those lessons and keep their composure during the ebbs and flows of these important matchups?
Yeah, I think that's just a credit to these guys' competitiveness, and that's all done. The poise that we're showing in games is because the fire that we went through in the fall. Like, every single day this fall, it seemed like life or death. Like, we had guys walking out of practice just not wanting to talk to anybody. They'd be pissed off in weights that night. And it's a real thing when we're competing like this, and I think that's allowed us to be poised when we need it most.
And the team has a chance to keep it going Thursday night against Pacific. Coach, as always, thank you. Signing off here from Zeppos. For back in the studio, Luke Hallett, Jared Bringuber on the video side, Jerry Kylo on the audio side. For David Riley, our guest Parker Gerrits, and LeJuan Watts, I'm Chris King signing off. This has been the Cougar Basketball Hour live from Zeppos from Learfield.